I was expecting it to ask him then, like, who are you? Are you offended? And
Well,
God.
we know who you are.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, thanks for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And on the social issues, I agree with you. The government should not be legislating or funding in these areas, but the Congress has been very active. And
That's unfortunate.
For instance, DOMA was signed by President Clinton, and I am glad that it was, because otherwise there would be all these infringements on the states or on citizens' rights in terms of marriage being, same-sex marriage being exported forcibly by couples that have been married, say in Connecticut, moving to, you know,
it's not,
Missouri or California or
yeah,
Utah or wherever.
the states have to be able to decide on their own, you know, here's how we're defining marriage, and, you know, and one state defines it one way, and you just can't say, well, force, the state of California to recognize a marriage if it's not,
It's been activist judges. No state have voters voted. Legislatures have voted in a couple of states, but
because otherwise you can just have this one state that says, we define. What if one state says that we define marriage as between a human being and a dog? I mean, every other state, or between three people. I mean, they can. What about you can if they want to do that, that means they've set the policy now for the entire country.
There's a book out for young children called "How to Get Married." It's saying they can marry
What if they say
flower, they can marry your pet.
What if you can get married? What if they say you get married at 10 years old? I mean, just because one state wants to do something doesn't mean that they're going to make law for the other 49. And also, as far as marriage, I mean, states can say, look, you can have domestic partners. You can have two people that have many of the same rights that you give to a marriage without calling it a marriage. I mean, you could still say, okay, I authorize this person to be, they can come visit me if I get sick, if it's, and you can have, hospitals can do their own thing. They can decide we will allow spouses or, legally declared domestic partners. You can still maybe make them a beneficiary of your Social Security or whatever. You don't necessarily have to be married to be able to.
They want to determine what we believe, and they want to redefine what marriage is for everyone. But Obama and others are wanting to overturn DOMA. Would you defend DOMA as a senator?
I mean, I think that since there's nothing in the Constitution that authorizes the federal government to define what marriage is, the Constitution is silent on it. So that is something that's left to the states. So the states, I see nothing in it. Then you have to look at your state constitution and say, what does the state constitution in Connecticut say? But it's up to the states. And the states, therefore, because they're making the laws in their states, and they can define legally, contractually, what a marriage is in their state. But just because one state says this is what a marriage is, doesn't mean that they obligate another state to recognize that. They can choose to.
Without DOMA, see, people that have been married in Connecticut or Massachusetts, for instance, a state with same-sex marriage, can go to another state and demand that their marriage be recognized by that state. Without DOMA.
Could not.
But don't prevent them from doing that.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing.
So you would vote to defend DOMA then, so that other states would be
Well, I don't even see how they forces them to recognize it in the first place.
Well, they go to the courts, and if there's no...
But what court is doing it? The Supreme Court? Is it the federal? Because I don't even understand the need for it, because it would be a federal court then that must be forcing it. Something that must be imposing that restriction. Because if I'm the state of California and someone comes into the state and I don't see the state, there must be some federal court that's coming in that's ordering it.
Well, they can bring a suit, just like in the Connecticut case. The original court and the legislature turned down same-sex marriage and put in civil unions in 2005. They sued, they went back, and they had this Kerrigan case, and it was originally ruled against that the Constitution did not allow for same-sex marriage. So they sued.
Well, it's silent on it. It doesn't mention it.
But there again, it's activist judges.
Although, here in Connecticut, same-sex marriage is legal.
Yes, but it came about through the courts, not people never got to vote on it.
But it was a Connecticut court.
Yes. And it was a narrow 4-3 majority, and it was actually a substitute judge, because one judge recused herself because her husband worked in those cases. and.
Yeah, but I mean, it shouldn't even be necessary. This law shouldn't be necessary because these are judges, acting outside their authority. But they do that all the time. We have so much, law coming from the bench, so much bad law coming from the bench, and the judiciary is allowing the government to get away with all sorts of things that are banned by the Constitution. So it's like you're looking at two wrongs make a right. I mean, there should be no need for that. But yeah, I mean, if there's some federal law that limits federal judges' ability to try to legislate like that and try to do that, then I would be in favor. But I don't even see how there should be a reason for it.
So would you have voted to confirm Sotomayor?
Well, I would have voted against her for a million reasons. So I don't know, the only one that I remember that knew anything about the Constitution was Ford. He was the last guy that I thought had any understanding of the United States Constitution. And of course, they crucified him. But all the rest of the guys, I wouldn't confirm any of these guys. Because they don't understand what the Constitution is. They don't understand that it is there to bind the government.
Bush's last two appointments were pretty good, don't you think?
I don't think so. I don't think he's had any good appointments from what I can tell.
Okay, I have a very early appointment. Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate your input.